This is former police officer Rosemary Nomia Ndlovu. And at every one of her court appearances during trial from 2019 up until 2021, she gave a performance.
Are we in a position to proceed? Ma'am, are you able to proceed? Can somebody please provide her with some water?
This despite facing a serious case including 7 charges of murder of her own family members, and all of this for 1.4 million insurance money.
Alright. What's wrong? Huh? I can't hear, my dear. What's wrong? Your kidneys. Are they not treating you? Are they not treating you? Barak.
Today, Tuesday, 21 October, she appeared in court again at the Kempton Park Regional Court, this time for allegedly helping her friend and another policewoman, Nomsa Mudau, plot the murder of her husband and the father of her 2 children, Justice Mudau. Also for insurance money. The pair has maintained their innocence. While they appear in court for continuation of trial, we speak to Nomsa's husband, Justice, who, if it was according to his wife and Rosemary, shouldn't be alive today, allegedly. It is alleged that Nomsa and Rosemary plotted to kill Justice. They hired the same hitman that Rosemary allegedly used for her crimes, but the hitman turned on them and told Justice, and that's how his life was saved. This is Justice Mudau's story.
Well, I'm okay. Thanks for asking. But life hasn't been normal ever since. Certainly, there's safety concerns, more especially when you consider what I've went through. And but this for everyone, including the children, like you said earlier on. It's a security concern mostly. On myself, it's an issue of permanent damage. I think I'll live long forever with trust issues when it talks to whether will I still be able to trust a partner or a companion to that extent of saying normal trust. So I think that's what should be is going to be a permanent scar to or living my life always watching over my shoulders. I think that's the permanent damage that has been caused. Yeah.
Sure. Mr. Mudau, you touched on something that's very important. You mentioned, are you ever going to trust a partner or ever going to trust anyone in this life? I've watched you enter in court. You greet everyone, you spoke to everyone in court, and then you went straight on the far end of the court, opposite to where your ex-wife was. What is it that comes into your mind when you see her?
A lot. It just brings back all those memories to say, by the way, there's someone that I cannot trust anymore. But above all, there's also issue of protection orders that are in place, which I applied for, which was granted. Having said that, it's my view that it applies also to me, so I can't even plead it. But the real issue here is about trusting me. I don't want to be closer to you. I don't want to be close there. Even now in court, you could see that you saw there are law enforcement officers as they came. I was looking at their phone if the magazines are on, thinking, what if she goes and grab this one? What will happen to me? You do things of such things, you know, because you're not gonna know what will be their next move. So, yeah.
Sure. And what is the family dynamics like in terms of the kids? Are they able to have any communication with her?
No, not at all. Ever since day one. I think the last spoke to her someone in 2018. So the trust issues is completely broken with the children. She's not even communicating with her. She was given, she has a right to see her children, but the kids doesn't want to see her. Of course, it emanates from what happened, transpired in our lifetime, which led to it because they don't want to see her till today as we speak. So from 2018, they haven't communicated. She hasn't seen them. I think the last time she saw them, they was somewhere in November 2018, if not somewhere just before June 2019, when we were going through a reconciliation program, because I will have to accompany the children to the family, what do you call this, social workers, to try and facilitate the spoken relationship between the children, but it couldn't work. So, yeah, and that's a stressful one, you know, for the children. For me, from my part, the kids looks okay to me, but because I was once a child, when I think of that, I'm like, well, unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do about it. I can't force them into it. I know she wants to see them, but I can't force them to. They indicate to me. You see, with the children, we speak openly with my kids. And if you recall, when we separated, the young one was 5 years, 8 months. He's now 13. And he still maintained the same status quo. The other one, I think, was somewhere like in 8, 9, was doing grade 5. He's doing matric now, 16, turning 17, not soon. So he still maintained the same status quo that he doesn't want to see it as wants nothing to do with it. Of which I just said, you know what, they'll make up their mind when they grow up. But to me, as a parent, seeing that there's no relationship, I think something they are being robbed of something which is supposed to be come natural. It's a mother's love. But in these circumstances, I think that was stolen away from them by their mother, unfortunately.
Take us through the emotions. How are the kids coping with this? You can imagine it's not every child that grows under the circumstances that your children are going through. What are the emotional impacts? Do they speak to you? Who do they speak to? How are they? When you as a parent, what do you see?
Look, this is a subject that we don't, because they've told me we shouldn't discuss about this, and if they feel that there is something that they need to discuss about it, they will let me know. So I've agreed. But what one need to know, or what Shara can put on record, is that these are the kids, much as they were traumatized, they did receive psychological help. They've seen psychologists, they've seen psychiatrists, and I think they are in a better space now in terms of how they're coping. Because if you enter our where we stay, you won't even notice that there is an absent family, and that's what brings me peace. And when you look at their academic records, it speaks volume. You can tell that they're doing great, and it's only disturbing when as I said, the last time I brought this to me to say about their mother, you could tell the emotions like you're opening old wounds. And I realized and I concur with them, we shouldn't talk about this. And it's not by my instruction. And anyway, it would be helpful for people to know that it's not like they don't know where the mother is, they know. So a child who's 13, 16, if they're not being well looked after, or if they want to, they can still go and visit their mother on their own way. I think she also know where they're schooling. So, but given the circumstances around it, and this is the part I appreciate about it, that she's not forcing herself into them, because it brings bad memories to them. It's going to disturb them. It was going to disturb them. And yeah.
Nomsa Mudau, you sit there and you are the man, or you've been dubbed the man that survived Rosemary's hit. How does it change your life? And when I hold you by yourself, you're sitting and thinking, I shouldn't be here at this point if they had their way.
You know, it's even worse when you realize that there are places that you wouldn't want to go to if religiously.
And
you are,
I see you change your
yeah,
beard, which is
if you are not Christian, surely you're gonna be in any church. And if vice versa, you are a person who's of African religion, you don't wanna see yourself in church unless those churches accept such. So this place is a place where I never thought of making it a habit coming to court, seeing magistrate or judge and prosecutors and police around him. I'm a peaceful person, but that just became new us because you understand we come here, we've been something to be here. So it's a process that we are following, but it changes everything because every time you come here, you are a human being. You reflect. It somewhat affects you. You just need to be stronger enough to say, you know what, regardless of this, I have to soldier on. Because that's what I've realized that life is not gonna end just because I went through a predicament. I've got life to live. I've got kids to look after, and I've got my own life above all to live. So I just said, you know what, this was just a bad experience, but it's not easy. Trust me, a knock in the door brings it just becomes scary. Even if it's a windshield, you like, and then what is this?
Yeah. So the trauma never leaves you.
It will never leave. Trust me. You can try as much as it, but it's not gonna leave.
Yeah.
It's something that I just have to manage so that I don't relapse because I had a PTSD. So I come a long way. I stayed 6 months in a psychiatric hospital.
Oh my
It was not easy. So you can't fake that.
Yeah.
I was not faking it. That's what I was in. But I'm not trying to look for sympathy. I'm just trying to showcase how deep it was. So deeper as it was, much as I'm managing and dealing with this, it doesn't necessarily mean it's Christmas Day. No, life will never be normal.
Yeah.
It will never be normal.
It will never be. Can you imagine the other day I watched your newsroom Africa and then there were cameras all over your house. You had gotten a dog, you had beefed up security.
Sure.
So coming from me now, what I also wanted to know is that a lot of people on this channel always mention that, but there are always signs in relationships like this. In your relationship, was there ever signs?
Not to the extent of saying one can be eliminated. I think we're
Yeah.
in a normal couple where we have our own issues, and then we think we sit down, we resolve it. The next thing we're in a happy mode because, of course, if there were signs that I feel like my life is in danger, I would have used the next escape route, as I see, to get out of that marriage. I've never saw this coming, or perhaps I was blinded by the fact that this is not an ordinary person or citizen. She's a cop. To me, it was like she can't do this. She upholds the law. In her uniform, I see the law enforcement officer. So I never thought see this coming.
Yeah.
You're right. And trust me, even when the news broke, I didn't believe it. It took me time to digest and believe it up until when the hitman, as they told me everything, how the attempts and stuff like that, the information they supply, the WhatsApp chat, everything they showed me. And then I was so this is real. And story short, after I arrested, she came out and then she confessed. And then I realized that this is real. But still, because of the love that I had for her and my children, my family, you know, no man will approach a man. It's my view. Or a man shouldn't approach a woman with a bad intention of causing pain to her. When we said we want to marry, we mean it. We want to build. And when the family falls apart or when it breaks, trust me, it hurts. For a man, it hurts. It doesn't. And most people don't realize that men do go through a pain when the family is broken. You have to start all over again. I keep on telling people, including her, I once told her, I lost time. I don't have a wife anymore. I must start all over. That was a painful experience. And because, like they say, time wasted will never be regained. Yeah, so it was not a nice thing. Still not a nice thing. But what can we do? Can't do much.
Sure. And just to wrap up, Mr. Mudau, anything else you might want to say? Anything else you feel like could have asked or I missed?
To me, I think I've got a conclusion as to why she wanted to do it. That's the question I wanted to do it. I mean, I would have asked. But remember, the madam had a meeting. She confessed me personally, but she also had a confession she made in the presence of her family members. I think about 5, 6, and my family members. I think it was in the eve of it was on the eve of Good Friday of 2019. In my mother's house. She confessed. So I'm at peace with as to why. whatever that's gonna fall out, to me, she told me the truth. Yeah, so I don't think that's what I would want to know. To me, all I need to see is just to see the will of justice change. Unless the prison will never change to say there are those who are exempted to the law, more especially when they are working for a state, because you'll know the status quo in South Africa, we are confronted with corruption. We're confronted with crime. And somehow this needs to be fixed. And I think this is one of the way to fix it. So yeah, that's what I just want to say. So as it says, also serve as a warning or education to other law enforcement officers. Because trust you me, if you can think of it, I'm not saying all courts are the same, but somehow there's some nobody who evade justice. We've done similar thing and we evade justice. So it's for that reason, if the will of justice or the will of law turns, that person will permanently not do it again or attempt to do it. And by saying that, at the end of the day, we'll be living in a safer country.
You're a very strong man. You're a very strong man. And I see that you are looking better now. You're glowing again. I back then when the case started.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a mess. Yeah. Thanks God. You know, as time that say with times, things you heal, but it only becomes better. But well, I just hope we'll get better as time goes by.
I hope the same. And all the best with the case.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.